Test, test, test.
How's it sound? Is that, can you hear me? All right, everybody. We are starting our episode 13 open mic. I'm a ghost. I can barely see. Welcome, everyone, to the Nervous Ghost Press open mic episode 13, HALLOW-SCREEN number 3. The subtitle today is Unleash Your Inner Ghost. And I'm excited to be here back in Pico Rivera with everybody, the community that we have been growing and cultivating. Whether you celebrate Halloween or not, we're able to come here and be who we are, celebrate the ugly and the scary, create things that are beautiful and unifying. And I'm going to open up with a poem, but first I got to change because I can't see. But good to see you, YouTube. Good to see everybody. And I'll be right back. I didn't plan about how that would how that would be on the inside. So we have a couple announcements. Today we're announcing that we have open submissions for our next book prize. It's a $0 fee. Always submit them, and there's more information on www.nervousghostpress.org. Also submit to our journal. It's a year-round submission process. As we're creating it, when we accept work, we accept it, we start printing, and we're just continually accepting work. So go ahead and submit always. Again, www.nervousghostpress.org. One thing that I always think about during the Halloween season, during October, November, when we start thinking about our ancestors, our ghosts, and one day we'll become the cool ghost that people remember, and we'll become hopefully the positive inspiration, maybe the negative inspiration for people to do good things, but either way, something good comes out of it. And so I have a poem here called I'll Go Where the Graveyard Takes Me, and I'll open it up our evening right now. I'll go where the graveyard takes me. The first time you thought about it, I got tools for the school project. You told Mom you needed them. You did it so she won't object. It worked until they found you, used their hands so they can stop you, used their eyes to see right through you in this moment, said they loved you. And they hugged you, brought you home into the place where they first saw you, where they lost you, where they heard you for the last time, said they'd call you. It's not right what people go through, alone in darkness while they scold you. It's not true when people cry and advocate as if they know you. Empty platitudes and solitude is where the demons think they own you, but it's not the nightmares, it's the blackness. It's right here, it's right inside you. More talking like they trust you, like they see the dark like you do, like they open up their insides and the blunt congeals. Is this true? The way they say they love you, when it's too late to fucking hold you, when the graveyard is the only place to finally say I told you, when the memory is broken or the graveyard's marked by bodies or by the ghosts of those who thought we needed it should have been me and not you. I'll go where the graveyard takes me, following your memory stride for stride. I'll go where the graveyard takes me. I'll live in strength and I'll live with pride. I'll go where the graveyard takes me. I'll go, until my ghosts appear at night. I'll go where the graveyard takes me, calling my bones home to where I'll die. Who wants to go first? Yeah? All right, come on up and introduce yourself. Say hello, make new friends, make new best friends.
Should I move the mic or the light? I have old eyes. Hi, everyone. My name is Arcadio Morales. And I'm going to read an excerpt of a novella that I'm writing called Celestune Blues. Anybody ever been to Yucatan, Mexico? The capital of Yucatan is Mérida. It's a cool city. They call it the White City because it's so clean. And outside of Mérida is a small, sort of sleepy fishing village called Celestune. And I spent some time there in January and was inspired by people I met. And so out of that came this story. Don Artemio, Don Artemio. The shouts are accompanied by the sound of 3 knocks. Don Artemio, Don Artemio. The cries are louder and the knocks heavier. This goes on for some time before he wakes in a start. Is he dreaming? It happens again. Fist pound on the door with more urgency. Boy, he answers reflexively. Where is he? And what time is it? He looks around the dark room, still feeling drunk from the countless shots he consumed the night before. He finally realizes that he's in his one-room Airbnb, and the incessant knocking and cries that he hears, calling his name, are from Hugo, the host. 3 more bangs, and then he hears again, Don Artemio, with the added, sorry to wake you, but la policía is here, and they want to speak to you. Ya vengo, Hugo. He finally manages to utter a complete sentence. When he slides a door open and he opens a curtain, he's forced to raise his forearm to defend his eyes against the rays of the early morning sun. Standing outside his door are Hugo, Two unfamiliar men dressed in navy blue police uniforms and the father and son team of docents that took him on the tour of the nature reserve to see the flamingos 2 mornings ago. His brain is processing slowly, and he is having a hard time making sense of why all these men are at his door. He has cotton mouth with a smoky residue. Must be the last shots of mezcal, which he hates, but he was talked into drinking by the bartender as he listened to the live performance of Los Hermanos Blues at the restaurant. And he's thirsty as shit. He reaches for the bottle of Tehuacan Blanco con gas and takes a hefty swig of the carbonated water while opening the door. Lamento molestarlo, don Artemio, pero estos señores de la Policía Municipal, Cayetano Bocanegra, asistente investigador of the Municipal Police of Celestún, Rosario Mendoza, investigador principal, Municipal Police of Celestún, the officers interrupt Hugo's introduction with their own broken English. Don Artemio's squinting eyes look quizzically at the gathering of men at the door. Then he extends his hand to greet each officer. Hugo resumes his introductions and looks at the other two men, saying, "You remember Don Horacio and Don Marcos? They picked you up here on Tuesday to take you to see the flamingos." Sí, claro, buenas. Don Artemio greets with the best smile he can muster under the circumstances. Officers Bocanegra dismisses him with an officious and discourteous, "Ya se pueden ir." It's not so much what he says, but how he says it. As they turn to leave, Don Artemio inquires in a rather disquieting voice, "¿Qué es lo que pasa aquí?" while trying to stifle a burp induced by the carbonated drink he just swallowed. "¿Qué quieren conmigo?" He wants to say, "What the fuck is going on here so fucking early in the morning?" but he refrains without knowing why. Artemio is his first name, but in Mexican culture it is common practice to refer to a mature man by using the respectful don preceding the first name. Don Artemio notices the investigators' roaming eyes, studying his room. Then, motivated less by courtesy and more by his hangover and desire to get this over with, he invites them in. As they sit on the convertible faux leather couch, Don Artemio slowly makes his way to his bed and stacks 2 pillows against the wall to prop up his back that suffers from chronic pain, especially acute in the morning. Hugo says, "Me despido y aquí los dejo." Then Bocanegra looks directly at Don Artemio and gets right to the point with his questions. No social graces, no pleasantries, no "who are you?" No "how did you come to be in Celestún?" or "we're concerned about a missing woman," just accusatory questions. "When is the last time you saw Señorita Dorothy Young?" "Dorothy Young? I'm sorry, I don't know what Dorothy Young." "You were seen having breakfast with her at the Restaurante Eden 2 days ago." Don Artemio raises his head, squints his eyes, gives him a confused look before repeating in Spanish, "Perdón. Debes estar equivocado. No conozco a nadie llamado Dorothy Young." She also uses the name Dora, Mendoza clarifies. Dora, yeah, Dora. Then he says under his breath, more to himself than to the investigators, "How do you get Dora from Dorothy?" The investigators give one another and then Don Artemio a perplexed look. "Our apologies, Don Artemio, but we do not understand your question." "It's not important, it's just a trivial thought about someone's nickname." "Any bit of information that might help us, however trivial," replies Mendoza. It's nothing. It's how you get the nickname Jack from John, like President John Kennedy, or Pepe from Jose, or Dora from Dorothy, that's all. But anyway, Dora, yes, I saw her the day that those guys took me to the nature reserve, to the flamingos, he says, nodding towards the door. "Tuesday, why do you ask? Is she missing?" "Why would you think she is missing?" snaps Bocanegra, directing a suspicious glance at Don Artemio. "Well, because you asked me when I last saw her. To me, that implies that she has not been seen and might therefore be missing, correct?" He burps again and this time says, "Excuse me." His stomach is settling, but his head is still throbbing. "Yes, Jose Villano, the manager at the Hotel Continental, hadn't seen her in 2 days and is concerned she is missing, so contacted us," replies Bocanegra. She's been traveling throughout Yucatan for several months, as I understand it. She might have visited a nearby village, gone to swim in cenotes or something, no? Maybe, but Don Jose reported that she regularly checked in with him and kept him updated about his daily plans, her daily plans. Interesting, says Don Artemio to himself, chuckling. Why do you say that con esa risa? Are you mocking our investigation? Bocanegra is perturbed by Artemio's chuckle. Well, because I find it interesting that the manager would frame it that way. Dora told me that Jose seemed overly interested in her daily doings, was nosy and annoyingly chatty with her, said she couldn't leave or arrive without him trying to engage her in conversation, however trivial. We don't know anything about that, says Bocanegra, sounding bothered. I'm just telling you what she told me. Clearly, they have different interpretations about their interactions. Perhaps, replies Bocanegra, seemingly unconvinced. Maybe she went to check out Cisal, the spur of the moment, and liked it, and decided to spend a few days there. It has its own beauty and appeal, you know, just like Celestun. Have you checked Cisal? We know how to do our job, thank you, Bocanegra replies defensively. Mendoza hasn't said much. Don Artemio is analyzing each officer's role in the interactions and surmises that Bocanegra, the interrogator, is a bad cop, and Mendoza, quiet, studious, and clarifying, is the good cop. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job. I just thought Cisal might be worth looking into if you're serious about her disappearance. Of course I'm serious about her disappearance. Why would you suggest otherwise, Bocanegra says. I don't mean to imply anything. I'm just offering possible scenarios. You sure seem to know a lot about her interests and where she might go, Bocanegra accuses. Your statement sure is packed with innuendo. Jose at the Continental creeps her out and you're making insinuations about me? We're conducting a preliminary investigation into her disappearance, says Bocanegra. Who else are you preliminarily questioning? I hope Jose's on your list, Don Artemio says with an edge in his tone. Cálmate, mano. Mendoza intervenes with a peacemaker's smile. We are not implicating you in anything yet. We are here because you are the last person she was seen with. Then adds, trying to sound supportive while doing his job. But if you do know anything about her disappearance, it's best that you tell us about it right now. ¿Entiendes?
All right, thank you. And if you like that story, he's got 2 more stories in the upcoming issue of Milestone 2022. Release date, December 5th, kind of, maybe. Don't hold me to it yet. All right, up next is a new member of our cool community. Was here last time, right? And as we're growing each month, it's really cool. We're meeting new people, making new best friends, growing our small community into a bigger community, showing that we can unite, we can come together, heal, and grow through art, through the stuff that is born from in here, comes out, looks all gross and awesome. And so, Julia.
Hey everyone. So the name of this one is I Love You Conditionally. My love is conditional. You know that. I do not love you as the Bible verse or movie scene or the never experienced memory of an idealized love. I love you as the wild child entranced by the kaleidoscope who might or might not remember that there's a world beyond the scope. I love you as the gazania that opens during the day but quickly shuts its petals at the evening start. I love you as the expected breath, the expected nipples that perk at the chill, the expected soreness after walking uphill for miles. My love is not fundamental. No, not like the laws of the universe, not like energy, attraction, or conservation. My love is but a composition that is temporal and mutates through time. And yes, my love is time-bound because love is not stagnant. Love is not still, but it is a love still. My love is loosely elemental like a molecule. It was born through the ups and downs of quarks, the pulls and pulls of currents of circumstance, the ins and outs of hydrophobic miniature matter passing through membranes, remembering always that we flow. We are in the flow. It is a love that is, simply it is. This love endures the moans and groans of day-to-day annoyances. It can endure the pauses birthed by hurtful moments. It's a love that reevaluates and has the choice to abort where it lays and can and will painfully walk away, despite of want, despite of love. Constantly vibrating, emptying our voids, becoming and being. I love you because I do. I love you because that's where I am. I'm in love with you, but it is not unconditional. I love you as a lapse of time, as a nagging thought that won't leave the mind. But will it? We will grow, branch out, twist and shrivel. It is what is real. This love is real. And though my love is conditional, it is love just the same. It is love. Thanks.
It's super dark in here, but it's kind of neat. It's kind of like the almost candlelight. I told my students the other day, I asked them, we're going to write a letter in a couple weeks. And I said, I want you to write your letter or a draft of the letter by candlelight, because we're reading Frankenstein and it was written in the 1800s and they didn't have any light, so they had candles. And I'm like, think about how much it changes when you can't see the paper or when your hand covers up every word you wrote. And they kind of, I don't know, they think it's dumb, but I think it's cool. And so this is neat. So before I introduce the next person who I think is ready. Yeah? No, not yet? Well, hold on. You don't have to be ready yet. Yes. All right, so you get to hear from me some more while we're practicing, so don't worry about it too much. This poem was inspired by somebody who speaks much greater than I do, and yet I saw a photo of them when they were probably in their 20s, and they look like they don't speak very well. And in the yearbook said, "Who do you hang out with?" And he replied with, "Who ain't I seen with?" And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Who ain't I seen with? For fighting day and day and day, then wake up and stop, drop out. It's not done. Start again. Tell me what my skin means. Brown eyes see just as clear as green ones, and blue ones are pretty, but pretty is fucking useless. Rip the calluses off soft hands and feet sitting in cute little beds and down blankets, made from the skeletons of the broken bones of children labored by daddy's dreams, and the alcohol in mommy's blood became the love in mine, and mine can catch fire. Let's fight at and pull at each other till we can't walk, till we can't stand, when the only time we speak is handing off the blame. The same way shoulders shrug and shake. If there's something better somewhere, stand up and take it. Extend the hands and shake them, then suffocate the hatred, ignite the fucking insides. If it doesn't exist, then make it. What is there to be afraid of? The status quo don't mean a damn thing. Take that beer, pound shots, wake up, walk to work, write books, sell out, shave, don't shave. They say don't. They say stop, but don't. Pressed up against my skull, line it up. They won't travel far, but my brains will make waves. Tying a noose is easy. You just gotta try. So I want to speak about, Julia, your poem, Love. And it's such a cool topic because a lot of what we write comes from the other emotions. And we're always writing about things that were from sad places or angry places, and they come out maybe in love places. But it's cool to talk about love and the good emotions, even if it's not the good emotion, but it's kind of a good emotion. It's all smashed together. I was thinking about brains earlier and how brains work. I'm not like a brain scientist or whatever that's called, but it reminded me of when we use like this part of our brain, we're still using this part of our brain, right? We're just using all of it because it's one brain. It's all smashed together. So when we hate something, we love something. When we're angry at something, we're happy about something. When we're depressed about something, we're also excited about something too. And it's kind of interesting and great how it all comes to life in our writing, and when we bring it here, and when we share, and when we speak it into the universe. Because speaking the words is different than writing the words. It's different than thinking the words. It's different than singing the words. And so I'm happy that everybody's here. Yeah? So the story I have about our next speaker, while our next speaker rehearses and gets ready, is in, I think, 2016, my book got published, and I gave a talk in this person's class. It was one of my first talks ever in a classroom, and then we became colleagues a couple years ago, and it's really cool, and we're friends, we're buddies, and so give it up for Obed.
Yeah, baby. You guys want a long story or a short story? You want a sad story or you want a happy story? You want a tragic story or you want a fucking redemptive story? A funny story. Let's get with it then. Funny I got. This one's called The Agony and the Ecstasy. And it's a true story. Huh? The song, The Agony and the Ecstasy. Flaco got a job at a packing house 2 months after getting released from prison. His new boss sent him to the free clinic to get a physical, and the doctor there told him that he should stop smoking because it would very likely kill him. Flaco, being a gangster since birth and a smoker since 10, didn't take too much stock in the doctor's advice, so he continued to smoke after leaving the clinic. But once on the bus and watching life go by outside the window, he began to ponder his future, thinking about a wife and children. He could be that husband and father, he thought, if only I stopped smoking. And it was then, in that moment on the bus, that he decided to stop smoking and live a longer life, just like the doctor had suggested. But life and God are cruel. For after making this life-changing decision, he walked off the bus, lit up his last cigarette, and shortly after was shot in the back of the head by a rival gang member. He never saw it coming. All that was on his mind was his new life after giving up smoking. The doctor had been right. Such is life. You never see it coming, son. Death around the corner. Rest in peace, Flaco. Smoke a cigarette for him.
All right, I got some more cool banter for everybody. Wait, hold on. So thinking about our theme today of Unleash Your Inner Ghost and the logo we have and the name Nervous Ghost Press, I always get asked about the history behind the name and the history behind why we're here and what we're doing and why we exist. When I was in school, the lecture, whoa, oh my gosh, Brian, you're murdering my eardrums over here. It don't got to be louder. Yeah, I don't know how it works. Brian's the audio person. Good. And I was sketching in my notebook. I made a little ghost. Look like a Pac-Man ghost, but I made a ghost. They had the cool little nervous, the lines they do in cartoons, and had a kind of nervous smile. It was holding the first poem that I ever read in real life, and I think back about that day all the time. The first poem ever. I was shaking, I was crying, it was horrible. It was the greatest day, all at the same time, all at once. And ever since then, there's been a nervous ghost, and I realized we all have a nervous ghost in whatever way that it manifests itself. And so Nervous Ghost Press kind of just made sense that we're standing up, we're sharing our words, we're sharing what comes out from the inside, the nervous ghost in all of us. And so today, we're able to unleash our inner ghost, and forever, as we survive and we live in this world, we get to unleash our inner ghosts. And is Emery ready yet? Not yet? Sure, yeah, come on up.
Excuse the chewing. Those chicken nuggets are so good. All right, so it's been 4 years since my mom passed away, and I wrote this poem after she had an operation that went well. So it's for my mom up in heaven right now. It's called 68 Soft. Sitting next to you, beside the hospital bed, after a 4-year operation, feels familiar. My dad died in this hospital. You and I sat next to each other, then in the chapel of the first floor inside the same hospital, and we didn't cry. Your forehead feels soft, like the inner belly of a barely fallen rose petal, like the petal that has been blown until it finds its home over dried concrete, laid there, slowly losing its softness, and finally forming a crisp, dry skin that is hauntingly beautiful. But your skin is still soft, detached from the stem, but still brilliantly complementing the door floor. Against all of nature's laws, you never became dehydrated after the days and weeks and months and years of detaching from the corolla sepals. I wonder if you were plucked or if you just allowed the wind to take you from the home of your branch. But regardless, there you were, freely blowing through the air. My eyes travel from your forehead to your mouth, and I think of how you look so much older than 68 right now. Perhaps because the dentures that frame that gorgeous smile of yours are put away in a plastic container inside my purse. Your mouth sinks deep into a sour, sucking expression as you attempt to sleep. I think of how your smile looks with your dentures on, beaming deep dimples, wide, long lines that curve between your wrinkled nose and the edges of your thin rose pink lips. Your eyes will squint and glow then, but now they just squint because the light is too bright and you are too tired. You finally seem fragile after all these years. I never saw you as fragile, even in moments that one was sure to dry and break, like living with a husband battling with alcoholism, or when you were given the heavy burden of caring for his every need after he became disabled. Even during his death, even after your cancer diagnosis, you were still indestructible. Your ozone layer would thicken in correlation to the radiation emitted over your world. You would not shrivel under the heat. No sign of second-degree burns over your shoulders. You would stare defiantly at the sun. Your face stayed stoic when faced with the roar of weighty circumstance. I was unaware of the hurt cradled in your eyes. Your barely noticeable tear-dimmed eyes were the only indication of the sadness inside. The same look I have in my eyes when they expect me to be soft and gray, like clay, like the concrete under the pedal. I stay grounded because circumstance has made it that I have to. I caress you in a loving way that you probably caressed me as a child, a way I don't recall, but I'm sure of. I caress you in ways that you don't allow me when you're awake. I can't believe how soft you are. I guess I have you to thank for the constant compliments I receive on my soft skin. I never knew. I never knew how soft you were because you were always so rough. You would shy away from my kisses and hug me reluctantly and say, "Ya déjame en paz." I rarely touched your skin, rarely felt it against mine, and yet my sister would jealously proclaim how you were your softest with me. But I rarely felt it then, until now. Until this very moment when you slowly open your eyes, see me, and try to sit up, as you struggle to speak through the post-op pain to make sure that I know that you're perfectly fine. I finally understand, as I sit next to you beside the hospital bed, that your love was showing me to be tough, even at our most fragile, broken, detached, and late still moments, to stay focused on surviving a hurtful situation where some would expect you to give in, dry, and die. You recuperated at this hospital. We are next to each other now. In the recovery room inside the hospital, my father died. The hospital that you came alive, and I don't cry. My barely noticeable tear-dim eyes are the only indication of the gratification I feel inside. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah. I think a lot about community and family, and I had a professor once ask me who my community was, and I never knew the answer to that. I always thought that community was Sam and Zach and Brian and Eric and Chewy, and those are the only people that I had. I thought it was the streets we used to run around in, the trouble we used to get in, but I realized that community was everybody. It was from in here, and we're able to grow our communities. It wasn't just what we looked like or where we were born or what language we spoke. And Sam and Zach and Brian are here, so you can say hi. There's Sam over there, Brian's over here, and Zach was over there, so he's missing a shout out. You don't get two. But the thing about community and family and toughness is that toughness doesn't look like what we think it looks like. We grow up thinking that toughness looks like that thing or that idea we had on TV or that someone told us or when they smacked you in the face. Oh man, that guy's tough. But toughness is so much different and courageous. And if Emery is ready, we have the courageousness coming up. Maybe. Not quite yet. Yeah. Do you want a chair? I don't want to. Do you want a chair? Yeah.
I think this is the exact height. I think, yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much, Sebastian.
No problem.
Just so I can see the strumming pattern, because sometimes I get too scared.
Do you want me to show you all of it?
There we go, like that. Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1. ¿Cómo estás, mi vida? ¿Cómo estás, mi amor? Persona de mi mundo, de mi corazón. Cuando tú estás aquí, cuando tú me miras a mí. That was so off, sorry. Te quiero. Mi vida con todo mi corazón. Last measure. Tú y yo en un mundo sueño de deseo con tus labios, un chulo muchacho
Awesome. Thank you, Emery. And such courage. Last time, I think it was your first time ever performing. And the growth is just the greatest thing that we have people coming up here and being who they are and unleashing their inner ghost. Obed, you want to close us out? All right. Unless anybody else want to sign up? Anybody here?
It's all good. All right, check it out. There's a little longer story. And this was just, I'm going to tell it to you guys the way I experienced it because, again, it's a true story. All my stories are true stories. Prove me wrong. That's what's up, G. Yes, sir. This is the scariest shit I've ever experienced in my life. So, I'm Mexican, as you can tell. And I come from the city of Chihuahua, in the state of Chihuahua, which is the biggest state in Mexico. And we own a rancho over there, and it's called El Rancho Palomas. And when I was a little kid, my mom would send me to Mexico every summer to be with my cousins. And my cousins are known as the saints, but there's nothing saintly about them. It's just that their names are San Juan, San Pedro, and San Martin. Let me try to remember that shit again. San Juan, San Pedro, and San Martin. And San Martin is the smallest one. And I fit somewhere in the middle. So on one of these summer vacations, I go out there to Chihuahua, and I go to El Rancho Palomas. And what I didn't know about the Saints is that they had taken the moniker, the Saints of the Mango Tree. And I was like, why they call you fuckers the Saints of the Mango Tree? And at that time, we were young, we were small. I think San Martin was about 5, San Juan was 6, and San Jose was 7. Was there a San Jose in when I first started saying this shit? Rewind the tape, bro. Was it San Jose? Right. What you gotta know about the story is that San Martin was the smallest one, the darkest little motherfucker too. And sometimes we called him Once. We called him number 11. You know why we called him number 11? And it has nothing to do with the TV show Stranger Things. Is her name Once, 11, or what's her name? 11. Yeah, they stole that shit from Mexicans. You know why they called San Martin Once? Because he always had snot coming down his lip, right here. He had a big ass 11. Yeah. Sticky as snot, salty as fuck. Don't ask me now how I know it was salty, but it was salty. San Martin would walk around going like this. So sometimes that 11 got smeared all over his cheeks. You guys have seen kids like that, look like they're eating vanilla ice cream. So these kids, my cousins, the Saints of the Mango Tree, the reason they were called the Saints of the Mango Tree is because there was a big mango tree right in the middle of the rancho. And it was part of the little adobe church that had been built there. And so the priest had planted this mango tree, and the mango tree had blossomed and grown to be humongous. And it would give mangoes the size of motherfucking melons, yo. They were huge. And so the saints would go to the mango tree, and they would climb it, take some mangoes, and sit around the trunk of the tree, and just peel those mangoes and just stuff their faces, man. And you know how when you eat mangoes, it gets all sticky all over you? So for Martin, that juice got mixed in with the snot juice. But it was enough, you know, to make it nice and salty, because when you eat a mango, you need some tapatio, some pico pico, right? Some sal. Martin never needed any sal. He had it, yo. So the priest of the town, and I forget his name, man. What the hell was this priest's name? We'll just call him Father Greg for right now. If anybody knows. That's my homeboy, so I can do that. So the priest hated that the saints would come to his tree and eat his mangoes, because the priest took pride in the size of those mangoes. And every month there was a farmer's market, that was his bread and butter, yo, like his mangoes. So he didn't like that the little saints would come and eat his shit. So you know what the priest did? He built a fence around the whole fucking church and the mango tree. Not any type of fence, but one of those fences that are made of iron and they got spikes, metal spikes at the top. This created a problem. But being Mexican, the little saints knew how to hop a fence. Oh, nobody got that shit? What the fuck? Oh, all these Trumpers in the house. Triggered. Oh, forget about it. Car INS, motherfuckers. Here I am. I'm a citizen. So the saints, on this particular day, they came and they were confronted by this iron fence. What are we going to do? Let's hop it. They hopped it, and they went straight to the tree. Got their mangoes, sat down, started stuffing their faces with these mangoes. What they were not aware of, however, was that the priest had gotten something else to protect his tree. What do you think he got? A fucking Rottweiler at that. Fucking size of a horse. And so there they are, the saints telling stories to one another as they're enjoying their mangoes, talking about what they're going to do later on. They're going to go to the river and they're going to fish. And all of a sudden, they hear the doors of the church open. Boom! And at the door, when they turn, they see the silhouette of the little priest. And there he is. And he's yelling at them, "You damn saints, this is the last time you eat my mangoes." And he goes, "Satanás." Oh, all of a sudden when he said that, all you heard was oh, it was San Juan, the first one to see the damn fucking dog charging towards him. "Un perro," he said. They all stood up, dropped their mangoes, and mind you, I was with them. So we take off running, and we're headed towards the fucking fence. And I think it was San Jose, the first one who scaled that motherfucker and just popped it over like a straight gang member. And then it was me, right after him. Boom, hopped it. Got to the other side, and we're like, come on, San Juan, come on, San Martin. And then San Juan was the next one to do it. Hops that shit. And the dog is getting closer, and here comes little Martin, and he didn't even have shoes on, man, because he was a little Indian fucker. And he's running. He's running. And we're like, come on, Martin, and we're all cheering him on. Come on, Martin, you got this, Correle. And his snot is just going like this. You know when you turn on the windshield cleaners on your car on the freeway, and all the water is just like, well, that was fucking Martin. His snot was going everywhere. It was fucking in his eyes and shit. He's like, ah. But the fear in him kept him running. And he's running. We're like, come on, Martin. And the Satanás, the dog's like, "Rrr." And by now he's barking like, "Rrr, rrr." And Martin is heading. Come on, Martin. And we could see him. And we're right here where the gates, where the fence is. And little Martin scales that motherfucker like, what? Never seen anybody scale a fence the way Martin scaled that fence. San Martin scaled that fence that day. And he comes, boom, and he lands on the floor. He lands on his back. He gets up right away, instinctively. And we're looking at San Martin. We're happy that he made it, but we're staring at him. And we're staring at his crotch. And it's bloody. And we're like, what the fuck? Martin, what happened? And then all three of us, with the exception of Martin, we turn and we look up at the fence. And right on the spike is a little ass testicle with veins and everything, just dangling. And it's fucking bleeding. And then we tell Martin, we point up and Martin just faints. He just fucking faints. To top it off, a fucking gust of wind comes. There goes the testicle. Guess who got that testicle? Satanás. He's like, eat that shit up. We called our tío. Our tío came with the wheelbarrow, threw Martin in that motherfucker. Then we threw him in the back of a truck, like a 1975 Ford F-150. Drove him 2 hours to the hospital. In the meantime, he's losing his blood. He already lost his testicle. There's a happy ending to this story. San Martin is 38 years old now, and he's the proud father of 10 children. Give it up for San Martin. True story. I'm telling you, true story. You can't make shit up like that.
All right, thank you, Obed. Is there anybody else that wants to speak again? Anybody who was inspired? No? I'm looking right at you. Not yet. All right, then I want to share a few words to close out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for episode 13. 13 online. I'm not sure what episode it is in real life. I don't think we can say episodes for real life, can we? It's just another day, another Friday. And so submit your work to www.nervousghostpress.com. Follow us on all our social media. Say hello. Join us at our next open mics. I post them up online when the date comes out. Email. I always reply to my emails no matter what. Say hello. Don't say hello. Say you're sad. I'll give you something to smile about, hopefully. Or I have Sam email. He's really cool. And Zach also. And so stay tuned. Grow our community. We care about you. We care about everybody. Have a fantastically safe and fun Halloween weekend, whether or not you celebrate it. Unleash your inner ghost. I'll put my ghost back on later so everybody can see it. It's really hard to see. I never think ahead about trying to see through the stupid things I put on my head. But thank you. We'll see you later, and enjoy the rest of your evening.